We got a busy show coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Did ESPN reveal the Bears draft plans in round one? We're going to talk about that coming up in just a few moments. But first, round of applause to all of you. We crossed 91,000 subscribers this morning. We greatly appreciate it. If you want daily Bears videos, this is the channel for you. So subscribe and join the 91,000 strong if you haven't already. And remember, we'll be live this afternoon on the channel at 4 o'clock Central. It is Bears Now by Chat Sports, and I am Harrison Graham. ESPN dropped an article with a lot of draft information, insider info, what's being discussed throughout the league, and they hit on a lot of nuggets around different teams, including the Bears, who, of course, have two top 10 picks, number 1 and number 9 overall. And they kind of reveal what the Bears could be thinking. Well, let's dive into it here. Obviously, Caleb Williams, no surprise here. All signs point to USC quarterback Caleb Williams being the number 1 pick. But what happens after that for Chicago? The Bears have only 3 additional selections, meaning a move back could be in play at number 9. An NFC Scout told ESPN this, quote, "I'd be shocked if they make that pick at 9. Ryan Poles loves to move around and build through the draft, and that roster still needs help in some spots." And there's no question, Ryan Poles does value draft capital. He does like trading. He's made a lot of trades as his team's GM. Feel free to fact check me. I had to double check this and make sure I hit every move he's made. He's made 17 trades as the Bears GM, and now you're probably going to say, no, he hasn't. That's way too many. That's counting draft day moving around, like trading down in the 5th round. Remember that first draft? He traded on day 3 like 6 times. So, it's an inflated number in that regard. But we do know that he likes to move around in the draft. He likes to trade. He's also kind of shown us with trading some day 3 capital already that, like that's been discussed league-wide, this is not the deepest draft. So just because he's done it in the past doesn't mean he will, but I certainly see the appeal of moving down from 9, maybe getting an extra selection on day 2 if you are the Chicago Bears. Now, what do you think? Will the Bears trade down from that number 9 pick? If you think so, type T for trade. Or if you think they're going to keep that pick, type K for keep. Go ahead and let us know in the comment section right now. Jordan Reid, ESPN NFL Draft analyst, said this on the possibility of trading down. He said, "Don't be surprised if Chicago moves back, adds more draft capital, and takes the best defensive end available wherever it lands. Laiatu Latu out of UCLA, Jared Verse out of Florida State are 2 options who would help off the edge in Chicago." And again, we've talked about this a lot on the channel. We'll continue to over the next 10 days. Can't believe the draft's just 10 days away. It really just comes down to the board. And by board, I kind of mean twofold. The Bears' big board and what happens in the first 8 picks. How many quarterbacks go between 1 and 8? Do 3 receivers fly off the board? Does Joe Alt go before the Bears pick at number 9? So a lot of things can happen, including the Vikings sitting at 11, just outside the top 10. What do they do? And how does that impact what the Bears could be thinking as well? It's going to be very fascinating to see how it plays out. This is how I view the Bears draft needs right now. Quarterback 1. I'm a little different. I think defensive tackle 2. Now, with the caveat, and we'll discuss this later, I still would take one of the top 3 receivers, but I think just pure need, I think that 3 tech is still a big question, unless they think Javon Dexter's ready for that role, which I think that's projecting a bit. Wide receiver, obviously, edge. I think 2 through 4 is kind of interchangeable. You could go any direction there. And then offensive tackle, which, you have Braxton Jones, so you don't have to go there, but you certainly could. And for the right player, I would certainly be perfectly fine with it. You look at the top edge prospects for me this year. Dallas Turner, it may not be the perfect scheme fit, but I think his athletic upside does make him the top edge. Jared Verse might be the better fit, so if they went Verse over Turner, I'd be okay with that. Laiatu Latu, I think, is the best pass rushing technician in this draft, but he has medical concerns. Chop Robinson, athletic freak, and then Darius Robinson, who can play some on the interior as well, have him kind of as that distant number 5 guy. And look, I'll say this. I like a lot of these edge players. I don't really love any of them at number 9. I think Dallas Turner's worthy of being a top 10 pick, but I think he's better as a 3-4 guy. So if you're the Bears, do you take him at 9 if he's there? Maybe. I still think Atlanta probably takes him at 8, but we'll have to wait and see. My point is, I would trade down. If you're Ryan Poles and you're thinking, okay, I want to go edge unless there's just this obvious guy I can't pass up on at 9, I'm trading down one of Verse, Latu, or Robinson Trop Robinson or Darius Robinson, if you want to move way down there, is going to be available later in the first round. So you don't have to force the issue at number 9. Now, obviously, it takes 2 to tango. There's got to be a trade available, but I would prefer to add more picks than to take one of these edges at number 9. Now, coming up next, we'll kind of dive into my tiered preference order of what I would like to see happen with that number 9 pick for the Chicago Bears. We've done this before. It's been tweaked a little bit as we've gotten closer, so stay tuned for that. But first, today's show is sponsored by Mando. Baseball season is here, and nobody likes a foul ball, just like nobody likes a smelly dude, whether you're in the car or at the gym or whatever the case may be. That's where Mando comes into play. Step up to the plate and take your personal hygiene more seriously with the Mando Whole Body Deodorant developed by a doctor. This game-changing formula is safe for your entire body and knocks out odor like a champ. Mando is made with mandelic acid, which picks off odor at the source, keeping you fresh for up to 72 hours. Mando is available in Solid 6 Invisible Cream Body Wash, cleaning bars, and deodorant wipes for on-the-go use. And you guys can get $5 off with promo code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, promo code CHAT to get $5 off. Don't let foul balls ruin your game. Switch to Mando right now. Keep your body odor in fair territory. Trust me, you're going to be smelling better, and people are going to want to hang around you more. Link is in the comments and the description. One more time, promo code CHAT at shopmando.com. All right, what should the Bears do at number 9? We've done this exercise before, but it's been tweaked. It's been a few weeks, and not everybody watches every video, so here's a fresh look at things. I'll kind of go rapid fire here. Number 1, I'm still in the camp, although I have had thoughts creep in of other scenarios, but I still, as of now, am in the camp of if one of the top 3 receivers of Marvin Harrison Jr., Odunze, Malik Nabers, if one of them's there at 9, that's my preference. You sit at 9, one of them's there, you take them. I would still turn in that card to Roger Goodell, whoever it is, and take that player if one of them falls to number 9. I just think these guys are too good. We don't know the future of Keenan Allen, how long he's going to be here. We know Keenan Allen usually misses at least a few games, and if he does, you're talking about DJ Moore and a bunch of question marks at receiver. I think if you can get one of these 3 players, it's pretty close to a no-brainer to doing it at number 9. All right, number 2, draft Joe Alt. And I'm close to considering Joe Alt over one of the receivers, but I still think I'd lean receiver over Joe Alt because, you know, I think it's safer in terms of projecting how they're going to be in the NFL. There isn't a super long history of guys over 6'8" being awesome tackles, but I think Joe Alt's the exception to the rule. I think he shows on film consistently that he can play with proper pad level. He can get down to those bendy edge rushers and more than hold his own. I thought he had the best tape on film last year among all the offensive tackles, and I think if he does fall to number 9, the value's tremendous. I think he's a slight notch ahead of all the other tackles, which is quite frankly why I'd be surprised if he was there. I think the Chargers at 5, if they stay there, or the Titans at 7, feels like a pretty close to a slam dunk. But if he gets past the Titans at 7 somehow, I don't think Atlanta's taking him at 8. So if a team doesn't trade up, it's a very real scenario that he gets to 9. And if he's there and the receivers aren't, I would take Joe Alt. Number 3, I would trade down. If Marvin Harrison Jr., Odunze, Malik Nabers, and Joe Alt are all off the board, which is possible even if 4 quarterbacks go in the top 8, because those next 4 players could be the other 4 players in the top 8, I would trade down. That is how I view it. There are just guys you can get. I mean, if those 8 players are gone, one of these players is going to be available regardless of how far you move down, unless you move down to like Buffalo at 28, who's been rumored to moving up. But you can move down a few spots for Jared Verse or Olu Fashanu or Brock Bowers if you want to get crazy with the offense. Laiatu Latu, Ryan Thomas Jr. if you move down a few spots. J.C. Latham, who I think the Bears might like, by the way. Chop Robinson, Jerzon Newton, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Adonai Mitchell. Like, there's guys that you can just move down for, pick up extra capital, and still get a player that, sure, maybe it's not a true blue-chip guy, although a couple of those guys might be based on the Bears draft big board, but I think I would trade down if one of those 4 previous mentioned players are not available. Number 4, I would take Byron Murphy. Maybe there's not a trade you like at number 9, or maybe they love Byron Murphy. I'm not sure. If it's me, I'd rather trade down than take Murphy at 9, but I really like Byron Murphy, man. Like, he's risen up my draft board. I think he's been rising up draft boards in the NFL as well. I think he could be Aaron Donald light. I know that's a tough comp, and I don't like doing the crazy comps to all-time Hall of Famers, but the body type, the testing, the quickness, it looks similar. It really, really does. I've gotten to the point where he's my top defensive lineman in this draft. He plays the run. He plays the pass. Not all the edges do that. They're kind of either pass rushers or better at setting the edge than the other. I think Murphy does it all. Sure, he's a little undersized. The arms aren't super long, but I think he uses his low center of gravity to his advantage like an Aaron Donald did, and beats guys with his quickness and his supreme power at his size. So I really like him. I'd be okay if that was the outcome at number 9. Again, I have other preferences, but I'm totally cool with that scenario. And then the wild card, like, it's hard to order where I would rank this, but trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr., like, we've talked about this scenario a couple times. If the top 4 picks end up being quarterbacks, Caleb, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, I think you at least have to consider getting on the phone and calling the Chargers at 5 and just seeing what it would cost. Now, I've made it clear I would not give up a future first-round pick, but I would give up a future second and the number 9 pick to get this guy because I think he's the best pure player in this draft, maybe overall. Now, obviously, you're going to take Caleb Williams, and if he hits, he's going to have a bigger impact because he's a quarterback. But I think he's smooth. I think he's got the size. I think he's got the yards after the catch. He can do the contested catches. Like, there's just no weaknesses. I think he's projects as a better A.J. Green, which A.J. Green's probably going to the Hall of Fame. So I really like what he brings to the table. And if you get him in this wide receiver room, it's that trio of him and DJ on the outside with Keenan Allen in the slot. That's fun to think about. This is the trade I've thrown out there. 9 in that Carolina pick next year, which projects to be a top 40 pick for 5. I don't know if it's enough. The Chargers would probably ask for a first. I would say no to that. But if they were willing to do a trade centered around this, I would even throw a future day 3 pick or something like that, or even the 4th this year. I would heavily consider that and bring Marvin Harrison Jr. in here. So there you go. My 5 preferred outcomes, 4 in order, and then the wild card of trading up for MHJ. I don't know where I'd kind of peck that in the order. I'd have to think about that more. But I want to hear from you guys. What is your dream scenario at number 9 overall? Drop them in the comments, and we'll see you this afternoon, 4 o'clock Central for Bears Now Live.